We have a 500 EXC. Here we're going to do our off-road setup in. This is going to be a project bike. We're doing it for a 300-pound kind of novice trail rider. So we're going to be doing our fork setup for the front forks and our shock setup for the rear shock. And we're going to let you guys follow as we go along to get this job done. These are the Explorer forks off the bike. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to explain the difference between what is stock, give you some ideas of why they're so soft, and I'm going to give you a good example of what we change, and I'm going to show you the components that we use in our STR Spec Explorer conversion kit. This is the stock fork setup. Okay, this side is what they call rebound. The rebound side has the red bottoms, and as you can see, the rebound side actually has a conventional piston. This is the rebound valve stack, mid-speed valve, and it has a bottoming cone with no holes in it, and it has a regular valve stack for compression for rebound. This is the rebound side, but it has no, you can see there's no compression adjuster inside the bottom. So as you can see, even though this is the rebound side, it has a pretty good compression adjuster. And then I'm going to show you, this is what they call the compression side. On the compression side, this is a newer version. It's a 22, so it has a little hole here in the bottoming cone system, a little hole in the top of the cartridge. The older ones, 21 and older, has this bottoming cone, which has multiple big holes in the top of the cartridge. And what happens there, they call this the compression side. I don't see how, but as the dampener rod goes in, it displaces oil. What it's supposed to do is build pressure, displace oil down through the compression valving. But what happens is, well, this one's not near as bad as the older one. The older one, the oil just shoots out the top of the cartridge. So it really never builds pressure to make any kind of compression valving. And then another thing, it has this mid-speed valve. I don't know what it's called. I call it an Explorer valve. But you can see how big the holes are. And how this works is oil goes, here's what it looks like off. Oil goes through all these holes and then out here. There's a little plunger in here. As you turn it in, the plunger goes in and out, and it's supposed to, make the holes smaller so it doesn't flow as much oil. But this thing flows so much oil, it would take a really big hit for this to make any kind of compression dampening at all. So what we do is we have our little kit that we came up with. We change all these parts. Basically, all these parts right here copies this. So basically, we're putting this whole setup on this side. And then we have our STR Spec mid-speed valve, rebound valving that we're going to put on this side. And then both sides are going to have mid-speed valving and rebound valving. And then we're going to take these that have no compression clickers. We're going to utilize the pistons and come up with our own STR valve spec for however big and heavy and the guy who rides the bike is going to be. Then we have these that have compression adjusters. So these will go in the bottom. And then also what we do is there are several people that make these with no holes in them, just like this one. You can buy those from multiple different companies, which I do at times, but what I have tested with a lot to make the kit not so pricey is I take This one's not so bad. You just drill, I just tap a little hole in there, just tap it slightly, and I take a set screw, put some red Loctite in it, and then turn it in until it is really hard, make it really tight, and that plugs that hole off. You can do the same thing with the older ones. I have set screws. I tap them only a little bit to get them going, and then so they're hard to turn, red Loctite, lock them in place. You can't go in too far because they'll hit inside there. So you just do that and it plugs all the holes off. That's the most inexpensive way to do it. So there's two options there. Okay, now that I've explained how the Explorer fork works, I've explained our STR Explorer kit and how it works and how it goes in there, and it's a much better kit than stock. It works very well in all conditions. We're going to be putting it back together into this bike. I'm going to go through my, the STR spec valving for the guy that rides the bike, how fast he is. Obviously, when he left the bike, he left his speed, where he rides, type of riding, and how much he weighs. So that's how we're going to come up with the spring rates and the valving that we are going to use.